Okay, welcome to episode 9 of the Distro Spinner. I know it's been quite a while since we've done one of these. The reason is, after episode 8 we had a couple of major Linux distributions that did get released, like Linux Mint 20, and then shortly after that we got OpenSUSE Elite 15.2. And it wouldn't be fair or realistic for me to try and ham in a Distro Spinner week while that's all happening, because then something's not going to get the attention it deserves. With that being said, let's spin the wheel and hope for the best. What are we going to get for this week? Okay, KDE Neon. I'm not super happy about that because I know we've done a lot of KDE coverage on the channel in the past sort of few videos, but we have to do what the wheel tells us to do. So we're going to go and download that ISO now, burn it to a USB, and then we'll be booting up into the live environment. I think it uses a live installer. We shall see. Okay, here we are in the live USB installer. I have quickly installed gparted. It wasn't included just to sort of clear a disk to make life a bit easier in the install process. And the disk is devsdb. So we can close all this lot now. Go away. We're going to jump into the installer here. I have no idea what installer it uses. Okay, what installer is that? Looks a bit like Calamares, but there's no sort of Calamares branding on here. Okay, I'm not too aware of this installer. Right, we're going to go to update this installer. Click, click. One more click for good luck. Nope. Okay, that's not doing nothing, so no clicking on that one. So let's just go for continue. Okay, so we're going to have our layout as UK. Do we have a little test keyboard anywhere? No. Okay, cool. Continue. We're going to install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi and additional media formats. Right, this is the part where it's scanning the disks. There's quite a few disks on this computer, so it's going to take a good few seconds, and 2 of them are mechanical, and I can hear the mechanical hard drive spinning up right now in my computer. They're making a bit of a racket, to be fair. Okay, cool. Right, so we have a few options. We have a guided, which will use the entire disk. We have a guided use entire disk and set up LVM, and then we have the same again but to encrypt it. I'm going to go for a manual because I want to change where it's going to put the bootloader, and I don't see it giving us an option here. We can change the disk, but it doesn't say anything about a bootloader. So we're going to go to manual, go to continue, look for the disk we just wiped, which is devsdb, which is right there. So we're going to make a new partition table. Here's the thing for bootloader. So let's go to devsdb. I want it to have its own bootloader so it doesn't sort of conflict with anything I've already got installed. It just feels a bit safer like that for me when I'm doing these Distro Spinner videos. Right, so we're going to make a new partition table on devsdb. Continue. Right, that partition table has been made, and now that's all free space. We're going to do 300 megabytes for the EFI. EFI, is it on here? It is indeed. Doesn't need a mount point for EFI. And then we're going to use the rest of it all on root. We're not going to make a swap partition, so we're going to see if it creates a swap file. It might do, it might not. A lot of Ubuntu based distros do, so we shall see. So let's go for root on that one, ext4. Click OK. And let's double check that it's got everything that we want. So we're on devsdb and we're installing to devsdb 1 and 2. Perfect. So we go to install now. That's just telling you it's going to format those disks there. Oh nice, so you can still click through the rest of the installer while it's actually installing. That's pretty handy. So the region is United Kingdom, that's all good. Right, user account time. Tyler, nice and easy password for the Distro Spinner videos. Okay, let's call it Neon Boy. There we go. And we're going to log in automatically and click continue. So is that all we've got to do? Brilliant. So we're going to pause the video now, and then once that's all done we shall be booting off disk. The time is now 12:50, so I'll make a note of that so we can see how long this installation took. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, here we are on our freshly installed KDE Neon desktop. I have quickly already installed HTOP and I'll remove Snapd because it comes installed with Snapd out of the box. So let's see what RAM we are using at boot. Nice, so it's using 527 megabytes RAM, which is pretty good, but I didn't expect it to be high because this is KDE these days, which is quite low in system resources now, and the package selection is going to be quite minimal on this install. So you've got a 2 gig swap file like we thought it might have created. So let's go into our computer's root here, and as you can see there's that swap file which is corresponding with that. So we've got a nice 2 gig swap, so by default it will create you a swap file, unless of course you choose to make a swap partition in the installer. So let's jump into the about section quickly. As you can see, it's KDE Neon 5.19, Plasma version is 5.19.3, and the kernel version as it stands is 5.3.0-62. So I'm going to expect it not to have a lot installed and mainly just KDE stuff, because of course this is KDE Neon, the flagship for the KDE desktop and suite of applications. So we're going to have a quick look though. So we have GwenView for the image viewer and Ocular document viewer and graphics. Nice, so you do get a default web browser of Firefox, and then you get all the KDE Connect stuff to connect your Android smartphone and sync notifications and all that good stuff. Okay, cool. So in multimedia, it doesn't come with a lot, but it does come with VLC Media Player, which is what I tend to use for movie files anyway. I'm surprised not to see a music player there, so we'll probably install something like a Lisa or some other sort of music player that works well with KDE. Office, right, so the Office section's very bare there, so we're going to probably install LibreOffice Suite so we can use that for about the week. I tend to only use Writer though, so we will whittle it down a little bit. Settings wise, again, it's just going to be standard KDE stuff. You've got your system settings, iBus preferences and input method. In system, again, very standard KDE, Discover Store for managing applications, and also you can do your updates from there as well, but we appear to be up to date. And I think that's all we really need to look at there, isn't it? And of course, KWrite, text editor, archive and spectacle. Brilliant. Right, what we're going to do is, because I'm not too familiar with KDE Neon and how it wants you to actually manage applications, so we're going to go into the FAQ quickly. KDE Neon FAQ. Brilliant. Right, so let's have a little look. Is it a rolling? Not quite. It's a package archive with the latest KDE software on top of a stable base. Unlike rolling distros, only the KDE software will be updated continuously. So that's quite cool though, so you get a nice stable base, but then the latest KDE applications. Here we go. How do I update to the latest software? KDE Neon does continuous deployment of the latest KDE software, which means there's nearly always new versions of software to update to. That's where that semi-rolling release kind of deal comes in. So if you prefer the command line, you can use the pkcon refresh and update. Right, so this is their terminal sort of commands to do updates and refresh. So let's see how that all works. pkcon refresh. Didn't need sudo for that, so we'll do it with update now. Okay, cool. So let's make this a bit larger. So I wonder if we can install applications this way, because obviously you can use apt as well, but like it says somewhere in there, this will install new packages and uses package kit code as Plasma Discover. Some uses of apt do not install new packages, which makes it less suitable for KDE Neon. So we're going to rely on pkcon to install most of the applications, and then whatever's not in there we'll have to use apt for. So I doubt things like Steam and stuff's going to be included in pkcon. So let's have a look. Pkcon install, and we're going to do mainly KDE stuff from here. So we're going to go Latte doc Kdenlive for our videos. We'll try GIMP, we'll see if GIMP's in there. So Latte doc Kdenlive GIMP. We'll grab a Lisa as well. Latte doc Kdenlive GIMP Lisa. Is there any other KDE stuff I want at the moment? No. So we're going to hit enter. I wonder if it'll ask for a password to so it's found all of those packages with all the dependencies there, as you can see. So we're going to press Y. It does ask you for a password. I thought it might. Nice, that was fairly straightforward. Let's minimize that. And we're going to jump into global theming now, but I'm going to assume, I could be wrong, that it's not really going to have any custom themes. It's just going to have, yeah, the Breeze Dark and Breeze Light themes. So what we're going to do is get some new themes. And one I've actually been really liking lately, and I showed it on my Arch Linux video, is Chrome OS. I use different icons though, so we're going to install Chrome OS, the dark version. And now what we're going to do is go into a web browser and get the Kvantum theme for Chrome OS. And you can get it from store.kde.org, and we're going to go right here, download that bad boy. So that's the password for the theme that we are installing, and we're going to download that. So I'm not sure if it's going to have Kvantum in the repo. We'll have a look. So those packages are finished installing, so if we have a look, there we go, you can have the latest versions of Kdenlive there, which is what we're going to be editing this very video on. So let's see if we can get Kvantum doing that way. Let's try Qt5. No, let's see if it's in apt. No. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I think there's a PPA on the actual Quantum GitHub page. So we're going to do it like that, and hopefully we don't run into any issues doing it like that. I can hear a load of kids in my neighbour's garden, so if you can hear a load of noise, I apologise. Right, Quantum, let's go into install, and we want to grab the repo. Here we go. The repo is Papyrus, so let's add that now. You don't tend to need to really do the update these days. It will do it afterwards on Ubuntu based distros now. I think since 18.04 that's been the case. So you can skip the update command, and there we go. So that's going to install Quantum for us. So we should have, let's go into the theming now. It should be installed. There we go. So we're going to go and apply that. Brilliant. It will look a lot nicer as well once we've got the Quantum package ready with it. So let's open up Dolphin. Actually, we might use these themes, icons. It's the same ones that come with Latte, and I think it's called like Telsa or something. Let's have a look. I might be completely wrong there. Taylor Dark. Okay, so let's go into our downloads and extract this bad boy right into this folder. Extract here. So Quantum should now be installed, and it is. Brilliant. Right, so we're going to navigate to that folder. We want the dark one. We're going to click OK, install this theme, and then we're going to look for it near the top there and click use this theme. Brilliant. So let's see if the transparency's worked with Dolphin. It doesn't always, it depends. No, it hasn't, so we might have to do something a bit later to get transparency to work properly in our Dolphin window. But for the moment, I'm not too bothered about that. Right, so that's all of that done. Let's close that now. So we should have Latte dock. We do. Right, let's make this desktop a bit more usable for how I like it. So we're going to move the panel all the way to the top. We're going to make it a bit smaller like so. We are going to remove the task manager. But before we do that, we're going to add a spacer, and we're going to bring it there. That way we can remove them and then things will stay in the correct place. It's got a pager there as well. It's only got the one desktop by default. Go over there. There we go. Right, we're also going to add a global menu. And then with the Latte dock at the bottom, that is my favourite sort of setup on a Linux desktop really. Okay, so that's all of that done. Let's open up Latte now. Any minute, there we go. So we're going to go into the dock settings because I don't like icon zoom and I like to bring the background up so it's not like a dock, it's more like a, so it's not like a plank, sorry, it's more like a dock. So we're going to bring this all down to 100 on both of them, on the show and hide. And we're going to go for dodge all windows, and we're going to go to appearance. Right, 36 seems to be my happy sort of size for Latte dock. Might be small for some people, but that's perfect for me because I like to sort of fit a lot more on that dock there and not have big large icons. So I hate zoom, so I always turn that all the way off. Let's also remove the analog clock while we're here. Right, so size. This is where we're going to make a bit of a background for it. We're going to do it to about 95. There we go. As you can see, it's got quite nice rounded edges and corners there. And opacity, we're going to bring down to maybe 65. Let's see how that looks. Perfect. So that looks fine for me. For the most part, that's how we're going to use the desktop. And if you open up Dolphin, as you can see, we do have a global menu there. And I quite like the Chrome OS's sort of action buttons on your title bar there. Right, so that's our desktop setup for the most part. Now we're going to see if we can get Steam. So I'm going to test it in PKCom, but I very much doubt it's going to be in there. It's not. So we're going to do it with apt, but before we do that, let's get Elisa as well. Oh, it's not in there. Okay, we'll install that through apt as well. So let's go sudo apt install Elisa and Steam. Actually, I'm going to get GNOME disks as well. And that should be all good. Right, so that's going to grab that, including all of the packages and dependencies it needs and the 32-bit stuff, I do believe. Got a really tickly throat today. Okay, cool. We're going to let that do its business. So I'm just going to open up a terminal and see if we have Vim installed out of the box. We do. Cool. So I'm just going to check the fs tab file. Right, so we're going to add a hard drive into that, but I'm going to do it with GNOME disks. That way I don't have to type all of that nonsense in and it does it for you. So it's gnome disks installed. There we go. Right, so I have my Steam library and everything on this disk here. That way I can use it across different distributions and I don't have to keep downloading things and reinstalling. So we're going to go to edit mount options. We're going to check that and we're just going to chuck that in data 2. So that will, at boot, that will mount at mount./data2. And I'll show you what it does in your FS tab. So now let's go back into our FS tab. And as you can see there, we have a new line. Or do we? Where is it? There we go, there it is. It's one at the bottom, adds it at the end of the file. Obviously you can type it in yourself, but I find it a lot easier than having to type all that good nonsense in. Right, let's get out of that and let's see how our terminal is going with these packages. Let's scroll all the way down and we are done. So what we're going to do now is open up Steam. We won't add our library to it just yet though, because I want to do a reboot so we get it all working and then we can get another RAM reading to see how much we've bumped it up to now, because Latte dock will also start a boot up, so it will be a bit higher than the 500 or so that we saw at the beginning. But to be fair, I'm quite happy with having to use this for a week, to be honest. It seems like quite a nice setup for the most part. Right, that's going to update that. Is there anything else we might need? LibreOffice. We haven't got LibreOffice, so I wonder if LibreOffice is in their main PKCon thing. Let's type in LibreOffice, and I just want writer. It is, so we're going to go Y. I should have written sudo in the front of that, then I wouldn't have needed the password prompt. We'll learn that as we go through. Okay, let's close that off now. So we're going to want to get this at the Plasma browser extension. So let's open up Firefox and add this extension. Add to Firefox and add. Nice. Right, let's close this lot. I think that's all added. Yep, there it is. Let's get out of that. And how is our... Oh, we're getting some weirdness here. What's this? Right, I'm going to log in, but I will have to blur this when I do the edit so no one adds me. Right, let's log into Steam, and like I said, we won't be adding our Steam library to it just yet, because obviously we need to reboot for that mount at the mount point that we want it to. And I've got two-step authentication, so let me just jump onto my phone here and get the code for this Steam login. Okay, that should be all good. Brilliant. Right, we're going to finish that. We're going to open up Steam and just quickly apply the Steam Proton Play. We might later during the week, depending if I need to. I know some games that I've been playing at the moment don't play very well without it, so we'll probably add a custom sort of glorious egg roll Proton build if we need to. Okay, so let's go into Steam Play, enable, done. Restart Steam. Okay, that's all done. We're nearly ready to be fully moved in. There's something I quite like about setting up a distro actually and just moving into something and like just sort of making it yours. Okay, that's done. So what we're going to do now is do a fresh reboot. We'll record the reboot though to see how long it takes to start up this time. As you can see there's your KDE Neon 5.19.3. Is there a distro that's like this for GNOME? Is there like a GNOME showcase distro? I tend to use Fedora to show off GNOME in all of its glory actually. I think the Fedora's way of implementing GNOME is quite vanilla. Right, let's see how long this takes to start up. So we've just got to the grub screen. Okay, and there's your Google Chrome loading thing. Okay, not too bad. Right, let's very quickly open up HTOP and see what we've managed to get it up to. To be fair, that's pretty damn good, to be honest with you. I thought we would have ramped it up a bit more than that, but we're still hovering around the 600 mark. So we've added about 60 megabytes RAM, but I'm sure if we left that, that might even go down a bit lower. So we're on 605 now. So no, that's brilliant. We can deal with that. I will install a few other things throughout the week, like Vert Manager and stuff like that, to play around with other distros. But that's pretty decent, to be honest with you. So we're going to open up Steam now. And while it's doing that, God, there's going to be a lot of blurring I'm going to have to do when I edit this. Right, we're going to go to Steam Settings, and we're going to go to Downloads here, Steam Library, and we're going to add that hard disk that we are now mounting in MNT Data 2. And as you can see there is my Steam library. and then that just saves us a load of hassle with re-downloading games all the time, and of course it works across different distributions that are all on the same computer. Very handy. I'd never like to keep a Steam library on your sort of main disk. It's always good to have a disk like that. Okay, so that will now be sort of downloading a few extra things there, but for the most part we should have some games all ready to go. Brilliant. Right, so we're going to close that now, and we're going to finish it off with just getting a nice little wallpaper, and then that is going to be me for the following week. And then come Sunday we will come back and do a follow-up review of what I feel like and how it's been using it for a week. We will have to see why the transparency is not working properly with Dolphin in our Covantum theme as well. Right, there's a Big Sur wallpaper I actually quite like at the minute, this one here, so we're going to use this. So let's install that bad boy. Done. Right, let's apply that. Okay, that is us ready for the week ahead. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and also join the Discord. There's a link in the description. See you on the next one. Bye bye.